It's not just vegans and vegetarians who can become vitamin B12 deficient. It varies from person to person, their absorption rate, and even someone who is not vegan, who eats meat, dairy, and eggs may still have to supplement. Hi guys, my name is Monica. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about B12. What is it? Why do you need it? Where do you get it, especially if you're vegan? If you are vegan, you've probably encountered a lot of people who are not vegan who have suddenly transformed into nutritional experts and they know everything about food. But you probably still get asked a lot, where do you get your, you can fill in the blank, where do you get your B12, iron, vitamin D, protein, calcium, whole bunch of stuff. So I already have videos where you can find plant-based sources of iron, and all 14 of those plants actually have more iron than beef. I will link that video here. And then I also have a video about my experience with vitamin D deficiency and what vitamin D is, and that will be linked in the playlist as well. Alright, let's get started. So vitamin B12 is a water-soluble vitamin that is naturally present in some foods, can be added to other foods, or it can be taken as a dietary supplement or as a prescription medication. So it is required for proper blood cell formation, neurological function, and DNA synthesis. So vitamin B12 that is bound to the protein in food is released by the activity of hydrochloric acid and gastric proteins in the stomach. But when synthetic vitamin B12 is added to fortified foods and dietary supplements, it's already in its free form, so it skips the separation step. So next question, how much vitamin B12 do we need? This answer varies depending on age, and there is a chart developed by the Food and Nutrition Board, but if you are of age 14 years or older, then we require 2.4 micrograms of vitamin B12. Pregnant women need 2.6 micrograms, and women who are lactating need 2.8 micrograms. There are lots of forms that you can take vitamin B12 as a dietary supplement, and for me, I use a spray. The brand is My Kind Organics, and it actually says on the bottle and on the box that it's certified vegan. It's also certified gluten-free, non-GMO, and it's organic. And it comes in 58 milliliters or 2 fluid ounces. And it's a raspberry spray. It actually doesn't taste bad. I actually like the taste of this. And all the ingredients are just like organic fruits and vegetables like beet, carrot, spinach, broccoli, tomato, kale, cabbage, parsley. It's just all ingredients like that. So all I do is I take it and I just spray it under my tongue once a week. And I just do it on Mondays. That way I know every Monday I'm just going to do one spray for the vitamin B12. I used to do it daily until I did some research a while back that says you can do it weekly. Everyone is different with the way that their body absorbs B12. Some people absorb it better than others. I think I absorb it very well because when I got my blood test done a few months ago, my vitamin B12 was excellent. And I don't even know if I need to supplement. I just do it for peace of mind, just in case. And there's been studies done to see if there's any harmful effects of having too much B12, like over the recommended dosage. And there hasn't been any cause of concern if you do go over your daily limit. So besides the spray, which I think is about $30 in most health food stores, but it lasts for a really long time. For me, probably like 4 or 5 months at least, and that's spraying once a week. People also do B12 injection shots. Since I don't have a trouble with absorption, I haven't seen the need to go down that route. But if you do have trouble absorbing it, you can, go to a doctor and actually get the injections. But first, I would recommend getting a blood test to see if you're doing okay with how you're eating alone or with the spray, or I don't know, there's a lot of methods you can do. There's also pills and lozenges that you can take as well if you don't want to do the spray form. So spray, pill, or injection are the ways that I know of. So let's talk about the symptoms of vitamin B12 deficiency, which can include weight loss, loss of appetite, constipation, certain type of anemia, weakness, fatigue, And there's also certain neurological changes like tingling or numbing in your hands and in your feet. And some other additional symptoms can include poor memory, soreness of the mouth and tongue, dementia, confusion, depression, and trouble maintaining balance. And there's a certain condition called Pernicious Anemia that can lead to vitamin B12 deficiency, and it's very technical, so I'm going to read from my phone. So it says pernicious anemia is an autoimmune disease that affects the gastric mucosa and results in gastric atrophy. This leads to the destruction of parietal cells, achlorodria, and failure to produce intrinsic factor, resulting in vitamin B12 malabsorption. If pernicious anemia is left untreated, it causes vitamin B12 deficiency, leading to megaoblastic anemia and neurological disorders even in the presence of adequate dietary intake of vitamin B12. I'm trying not to go into much of the science part because that's hard for most people to understand, including myself, but I just really want to get the message across that not just vegans and vegetarians who can become vitamin B12 deficient. It varies from person to person, their absorption rate. And even someone who is not vegan, who eats meat, dairy, and eggs may still have to supplement with either injections or with the spray or the pills or something like that. So other groups of people that may suffer from vitamin B12 deficiency besides vegetarians and vegans can also include older adults. Some of them may suffer from atrophic gastritis, which is a medical condition that can affect B12 absorption. People with pernicious anemia, which I just mentioned a moment ago, that's another condition that affects the absorption rate of B12. And also people who've had a gastrointestinal surgery. So surgeries such as for weight loss or to remove part of the stomach. There's been a huge misconception that humans can only get their B12 derived from animals or animal byproducts such as cow's milk and eggs, but that isn't the case. Fungi, animals, and plants are all incapable of producing B12 on their own. So this means that they have to obtain it from outside sources. B12 is naturally synthesized by bacteria, so therefore it's found in bacterial growth such as dirt and soil. So humans have been getting their B12 from the dirt for hundreds and thousands of years by eating plants that still had bits of soil left on them. However, by today's industry standards, we wash our fruits and veggies so well that there's no dirt left on them. That means we're not getting our proper levels of B12 by consuming fruits and vegetables alone. And the reasons that we obtain B12 from eating animals or animal byproducts is because the animals, they graze and they eat. Then B12 is produced in their gut by the bacteria growth, which means that when people, eat their bodies, they're basically eating what the animals were eating. So this next one is an all-time vegan favorite. We put it on almost everything, and that is nutritional yeast, aka Nooch. Unfortunately, not all nutritional yeast are equal because they don't all have B12 added to them. The only two brands that I read that do are Bob's Red Mill and Bragg's, and that's actually the one that I use. And if you haven't tried nutritional yeast, whether you're vegan or not, you're missing out. You can use it to season flavors just about anything. It has like a cheesy kind of nutty flavor. So again, just make sure to check the label to know for sure that it has added B12 to it. So another food, or rather condiment, is something called Marmite, which I have never seen here in the States, I don't think, but from what I read, it sounds like it's something that's really popular in the UK, and that is packed with B12. And the last plant-based food source that has B12 are fortified snack bars. So there's plenty of vegan snack bars out there in the market, and some of them are fortified with B12, so just make sure to look out for that.